My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Cole Ross.
And you're listening to Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a Games Club podcast.
And this week we are talking about Tunic, which is an action RPG developed by Isometricorp Games and published by Finji for PC and consoles in 2022.
It's also a shirt that's a skirt.
Yep.
This episode is executive produced by Shane. Thank you, Shane. Mm-hmm. And it is our premium episode for the month, which means everybody is going to get generalities. But if you want to hear the play-by-play, you do that by becoming a patron at $5 a month at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Yeah. So in this game, you play as an anthropomorphic fox called the Ruin Seeker, who wakes up on a shore of a strange land and then proceed to explore and fight with no immediate purpose.
Yeah, you're in a video game.
Yes.
So you do those things. And when we say called the Ruin Seeker, that ties into this game's trick, is that it doesn't tell you that.
No.
Nothing's explained to this game.
Nothing.
We're going to give away the gimmick of this, which this is the selling point of the game. It's Tunic's trick. It is a thing that I think is like, I think this game is better than I ended up liking it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like, I'm really impressed by this game. I think it's very beautiful. I think it's incredibly well designed. I didn't have as much fun with it as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But not because of this.
No.
This selling point, the central selling point, is one of these like genius ideas that, I don't throw around super lightly. I think it is really, really smart.
Yeah. And it comes from a very familiar place, right? This is recreating a feeling that I definitely had, right?
That is the idea, but it's recreating it intentionally.
Yes.
It reminds me of how Shovel Knight doesn't actually play like old NES games, but it plays the way you think it does. Mm-hmm. This game is using its meta manual system to recreate the way you remember doing those old manuals and like doing the trick.
Yeah.
Like, I think that in actuality, if I could go back and sit over my shoulder as a kid, when I was figuring things out that way, I was not really doing the things this was doing.
No.
It wasn't as intended or guided. This is recreating that feeling as its central, to me, like as its central artistic point.
Yes.
And like, it reminds me in that way of Retro Game Challenge a little bit, how that is a game that emulates the feeling of getting a new game and like checking through magazines and playing with your friends.
Yeah.
Something from outside of games. This emulates the feeling of being too young to really understand a game and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And that's a super worthwhile thing to do. And I'm surprised nobody did it before, but somebody always has to be the first.
Yep. It's so neat.
Yeah.
It's so neat. I'm cushioning this a little bit because there's a bunch of things in this game that bugged me.
Oh yeah.
In terms of the play, I didn't like playing it very much. And I feel guilty about that because it's a really special game. Like it's doing something really unique.
Yeah.
It just also did other stuff that I had to do to get to those points. And the never ending friction was really frustrating to me. I'm reconciling my admiration with the upped cortisol levels that I had when thinking of when sitting down to play it.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll talk about that when we get to the combat and the difficulty and the accessibility options that are around that. Yeah, as well. You kind of get to choose what you like about this, to highlight it, right?
To highlight it, but you have to do the parts you don't like regardless.
Yes. Yeah.
You just get to choose. You can minimize them a little bit, but you got to do them.
So we kind of talked around the central gimmick here.
Yeah.
Nothing is explained. Well, it is explained, but it is explained in a language that you cannot read. It is possible to read it, but you don't know it because it is unique to this game. It is a constructed written language that is all throughout the interface and all throughout the manual pages. You find the manual for this game within the game, page by page, and the majority of the text that is written in that is in the constructed language.
The constructed language, the manual is what I consider to be the primary thing of this game. The constructed language is definitely important.
Mm-hmm.
The manual, finding everything you need to know about this game is in the game's manual. Instead of the game's manual coming with the game, you find it in the game's world, page by page. It's incredibly intentional what order it gives it to you. The manual is used to figure out the language, and that will give you additional insight. You don't have to learn the language to play the game.
No.
There's enough English and enough context clues and visual guides and stuff to where you still learn everything from the manual.
Yes.
That to me is what I'm talking about when I talk about to me, that is the genius bit. Making up a language, game developers do that all the time.
Yeah. I feel like it is a necessary part of it because you find the manual, and if it just had every single thing written out for you in a way that you could understand, like a lot of the kind of cards that this has to play would be played earlier, I think, than otherwise. I think that it contributes so much to the mystery that you could do one without the other. But if you did that, either of them, I think, would be less impactful than this particular combination of them.
I agree with that. I guess my point being the new thing is the manual is giving you literally the stereo instructions while you're listening to the stereo.
Yes.
Like page by page and stuff. Like there have been a lot of games that put things in a made up language that then you can cipher throughout.
Yeah.
They put them in in-game signage, they put them in in-game documents and stuff like that. That doesn't feel new to me.
Yeah.
What feels new to me is this kind of meta thing and giving you like essentially a guide to the game, both mechanically and world-wise, like progress-wise and story-wise and all these things, bit by bit as a thing you find in the game world.
Yeah. And for me, I basically agree with you. It's just that, getting the pages is really cool. When I think about what this is emulating, I recall back to a time when I was too young to read and could not talk any of my family members into reading a manual for me. I often could. But I think that that is a particular secret sauce around this, which is not to say that you absolutely need to, you never need to actually decipher this, to figure out what is going on or even like roughly what things do. There are other clues instead within the manual. There are, diagrams, there are illustrations, things like that. But I think
there's also words in English.
Yeah, there are some words in English. Yes.
There's plenty of words in English for it. It's like, it's very specific as to what it obfuscates, but the things you need to actually just complete the game, regular ending, not, mega ending. This is one of those games. You get basically just through not learning the language. Part of this is like, I knew going into this, I wasn't going to learn the language. Like I asked the patron, I was like, I don't like learning languages in games.
Yeah.
Is that going to be fine? They're like, yeah, you can still go through it. And then I looked up afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's, I got the information now and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Currency will spend with that kind of thing. It's a thing and that like some folk like super love but don't feel like it's necessary.
Definitely don't. And if you represent that half of the relationship with it, then I represent like, oh, this is an interesting challenge. I spent the entire time taking notes about different like interface things that popped up, looking for common words. Even before I figured out how the language was constructed, I noticed, particular symbols coming up like, oh, that has to mean like obtained or got or found. or the, right? Eventually I started being able to, pick out like these commonalities. This was interesting to me. And that I think is why it feels more important, in the manual finding process. So
I agree that it's certainly important. It's just a thing that I've seen before.
Yeah.
Was basically my point in terms of like newness.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, I just don't have the brain for it as a thing. I still got something out of it because of the order in which information was revealed to me and having to go back and recontextualize new information I got.
Yes.
From that manual.
Yeah.
Things like that.
What's important is you're not, outside of some items you get, like a lot of the things that the manual is showing you are things that you could do all along. Right.
Yes.
Just you never thought to hold that button there or press that button there or interact with this thing in that particular way. Which means this is a game that can be sequence broken. Yeah.
And that's where, when I talk about this being a thing that emulates a feeling rather than like just emulating the way that it would feel, is that in the fiction of this, you'd have that information. If you got this game on the fake system it would have come out on and everything, you would have read a manual. It would have been something you would have done for the vintage this is messing with before you played the game.
Yes.
Like, yes, if you didn't read yet, you wouldn't have been able to understand it. But if you did read, you would know all of this stuff.
Yeah.
The game only works with you not knowing that stuff, in advance, because otherwise it is like, it wouldn't feel as special. When I say only works, that's probably overstating a little bit.
Yeah.
So like you can do a lot of things. We're going to talk about some of these things in generalities. There are later reveals in this. This is a big spoiler game. That's, I would say, spoiler beware in generally.
Yeah.
In general, we're going to go through generalities and try to avoid a lot of that stuff, talk about it when it comes up, but it's playing with live ammo. Like this game wants you to experience it without. Watch out for fireballs.
Yes.
In a way, like I don't think intentional, but
Yeah. So when I structure the notes, I have generalities like explaining the basic mechanics. Some of them are the ones that are a little bit elided or you only learn about them later. But I think it is necessary to talk about them, to talk about like the balance and combat in the game.
Yes.
Right. The beat by beat, I basically wrote all of that along with myself playing before I knew any of what the language did. So like everything up through getting just the regular ending, that is going to presume no information about the higher order stuff that's going on. And then I have a section at the end about deciphering the language and the stuff you discover and those particular mechanics. So like there are multiple, kind of hopping off points here if you are sensitive, but broadly, this game does want you to go in blind because a huge part of the purpose is for you to feel lost. And to get those little joys of discovery as it doles them out in a very smart way.
It's worth pointing, it's worth at this point, even because we're going to say something that is a delight just here in a second, deciding if this sounds like your thing.
Yes.
And deciding at that point whether this is interesting to you. Plays like a dream on Switch. Like, I recommend this. I didn't, again, I have those added cortisol levels. There's issues I have with it, but what it does is neat enough. This reminds me a little bit of like, for me, the Outer Wilds, where I sometimes feel like there's something missing in me because I don't have the magic feeling people get around this. I always feel like people have their their souls blown by stuff like this. And I never feel that. And I didn't feel it from this.
Yeah.
I don't really get that.
Okay.
And I don't, I've gotten it narratively. Like I get that in like Disco Elysium. I didn't really get that from this. The reveals of this were cool.
Yeah.
But I never get that, whatever that thing is.
Yeah. I like it. To say that I had my soul blown by it is definitely overstating it. I think that this is really special. I really loved, even just the feeling that I got, from the aesthetics, going around to these places, figuring out what I could just by, reading the levels as if it was a Souls level, kind of thing. And the process of getting to the extra stuff did make me feel warm and nostalgic. And, it did feel magical for me in the way that it kind of drug me along, in the way that I felt very sensitive to new information that would recontextualize other things. So, like, I felt it. I wasn't, like, weeping at this, But yeah, I think that I've got a little bit of that thing that you feel you're missing here.
Yeah. I the reason why I bring that up is not to, put stakes in the ground, but just to let people know we're going to start saying stuff now.
Yes.
So if that's something that you have the receptors for and this sounds interesting, go play it. We'll wait. Okay. This is a Zelda-like generally in how it looks, but also kind of a Souls-like. It plays an isometric perspective. And the first thing I wanted to, the reason why I told people to go play it is because this perspective is used to hide things from the player that would be obvious to the character.
Yes.
There are things behind everything in this game. You push on every corner of the map, every little shadowed place, everything behind a tree or whatever, and they stick something there. It is endlessly great.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time it happens, it's good. Finding new ones when I would backtrack, was always great. This is a great feeling. And the way that they put this together, again, is like super masterful.
Yeah.
The things that they use to disguise these.
Just whole other paths through the game. And when you because this has a little bit of Souls level design to it, there are shortcuts. The
shortcut game is incredible.
The shortcut game, and this is amazing. Also, some of those shortcuts are, you find a path that is, kind of hidden on one side, further into the level, and you follow it. And then you don't open anything. There's nothing to unlock. You just come out at a place earlier in the level that you would never have thought to find a path there or look for a path there. They're constantly doing this trick. And
with kind of shocking consistency.
Yeah.
It goes, and it makes just moving around really fun because you can think an area and most of the time there's something else there. I found that was very pleasing. That was really fun.
Yeah.
So you have various items you get in. You can pick up, and these are assigned to the face buttons. Generally you're going to attack, and that's most often going to be your sword. You have that, then you have consumable items and magical items.
Right.
Along with that. So consumable items, you get limited amounts. You can usually buy these. They go away forever. Magical items cast from your MP bar.
Right. About those consumables, use them. They're there for you to use. It's even included in the manual.
Yes.
I love the phrase around it, so I'm just going to spoil it. It's just the rainy day is now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it doesn't, the reason why there's any tension around that at all is because the game doesn't tell you what they do.
Right.
You can pick up a thing that looks like a doodad. You're not sure what that does. You have to try it.
Yes.
To find out.
Yeah. And even that might not show you what you want, what you want to know. Yeah. And then, you have an MP bar that you cast from. This is everything ranged. We'll relate to that in some form or fashion.
Yes.
This is top-down combat, but it also does have Z targeting in a weird way, pulling from Zelda. There's lock-on. It's called focus in here. This will center you on an enemy and make sure you always face toward them. Facing being important, not just for attacks, but because you have a shield.
Yeah. It zooms in a little bit too. This game is pretty zoomed out most of the time. It has kind of a smart zoom depending on when you're in combat.
Yeah.
This is a way to activate that. This is more of a thing. I played this on Switch, so it didn't play on a big screen. Defensively, you get a shield at some point, so you can soak up hits, and you can perform dodge rolls. Both these draw from a stamina meter that you have. And there's a lot of tuning around this. If you watch the No Clip documentary on that, the stamina meter, when it is low and empty, you can still do everything. That's a real innovation.
Yeah.
You just take more damage. So you need to play conservatively. You don't want to take that more damage. And you also lose your iframes. You can still dodge.
Yeah.
And you can still swing your sword. You just can't. You'll take tons of damage if you fuck up, if you get hit.
Yes.
So you need to play this game pretty conservatively, which plays into a thing I don't like about the combat rhythms, which we'll talk about.
Yeah. In addition to stamina, there's also kind of a semi-hidden stability system that determines when you get stunned. You will flinch or get knocked down if you take a really damaging hit. I think the flinch threshold is 25% or more of your total HP.
Yes. There's an accessibility system, so you can customize the combat. You can turn off stamina drain. So it plays a little bit more like a Zelda game, less like a Souls game. You can turn that off entirely. You can also turn off dying. Is an option in this. kind of a damning thing. I eventually did that because I didn't want to fight anything ever again in this game.
I did as well. I got to a boss that was way too difficult for me. And then afterward, I tried to turn it on, and everything in the area was too much for me to handle. And generally, by that point, I was more focused on getting around to solve the meta puzzle stuff.
But I think I got to the point of I wasn't working on the meta puzzle, even when I was doing the main puzzle. I got to that point of feeling that pretty early.
Yeah,
in this, and I felt a little bad about it, and especially premium episode, patron demand. I always feel a little bit bad about cheating through something. This is an accessibility feature. It's not exactly cheating, but it is God mode, to put on. I always feel a little bit bad about it. And I had to kind of like counsel myself into it being okay. I've rarely hit the I get it button on combat harder than I've hit this one. I know I said that about Plague Inc. as well. This has been I get it month for me. Geez. I like both this game and that game, but just the mechanics were too samey. I was doing too much of the same thing over and over in both of those games.
Yeah, and even with if you decide to keep the combat on, there are some things that make it not be my favorite part of this. Actively kind of hold it back a little bit, which is broadly things are a little bit too loose when it comes to moving around. Kind of move at a kind of a mosey, even if you're doing the run. And also the primary way that this gets difficult before they even introduce stuff that some mechanics that I think make it way too difficult. But the primary way it does this is to surround you. You can only block from one direction. And there's only so much space to dodge to. It is to fill the screen with enemies, such as damage is coming from all sides. And I wasn't getting a lot a lot of that.
No, there's some clever ambushes that will happen with that.
Yeah.
Like you try to sneak up on a guy, but once you see that a couple times, it starts feeling a little rote. On top of what probably my single biggest issue with this game is I probably would have cut like 40% of the combat generally. And that number is considered. That sounds exaggerated. There's so much.
Yeah.
It's really dense with combat. One of the reasons why that doesn't bother me, if I go onto a map and Link to the Past and there's 4 enemies on it, they're not group attacking me usually, and they go down really quickly. Like that is a breezy game. This game, which I wanted it to feel a little bit breezier in terms of just moving around, is super not breezy. You can run by enemies, but you don't want to run by enemies because you want to explore the map. So you have to sit down and meticulously fight every single one of them on the screen. Anytime you rest at a bonfire, there's bonfires, they'll come back. It's a chore, and there's so much of it.
Yeah.
Like I understand a little bit that they didn't want you to breeze through the game because it has this thoughtful pace. It wants you to stop and think. I wasn't thinking about the puzzles while I was fighting. I was trying to think if maybe that was the intention. Like you chew on something while you're doing this, but I wasn't able to do that. And the combat itself was not like it's fine. It's hard for me to say exactly what's wrong with it other than just the fact that it's too frequent and the encounter design is super overwhelming. But I got really sick of it. It's hard for me to overstate how much I wish I could have just like erased every enemy in the game.
I think that there's a little bit too much. I don't know that this game is very well served by being a Souls-like in the way that it is. It's kind of trying to bring a little bit of the even a basic enemy can be really dangerous to you kind of feel to this. When by the aesthetics and also kind of by my appetite based on the game's strength, it does imply a little bit more Zelda-ness to it, where enemies go down in 1 or 2 hits. The major enemies, the challenge is less about how much HP they have, and it is more about the way that they move, the way they behave, the way they kind of mix with the environment, making everything be dangerous to you and also have a lot of HP and kind of forcing you to stop to deal with it, I think works athwart what is cool about this game to me.
I can see the idea.
Yeah.
You're in an alien place and it is hostile, right? But it's really interesting to do this after we did Lunacid. which is another game that is about being in an alien place that is hostile and had large stretches of nothing.
Yeah.
It was about being lonely and feeling alienated from the premise and home in the game for different reasons than that. This kind of hostility angle of it, I don't really think works. This ties into death as well. It's a Souls-like in terms of death. When you die, you have to go get your souls. You recover at a bonfire. And you have to come back. Doing that just meant fighting everything again.
Yeah.
And if you are exploring, if you're trying to find, edges of the map, you're trying to figure out how to get to a specific place to operate a machine, to do a puzzle. I hated just having to walk back and do it again.
Yeah.
Like, it drove me nuts. Hard for me to overstate.
Yeah. Turning off the stamina drain got me, pretty far in terms of being able to, I put up with it as the wrong way. That carried me through a lot of the game.
Warmer on it than I am as well. Like, this is something I feel pretty. I don't think that I'm the mean in this. Like, I don't think most people experience the combat to this degree. Like, I've seen people have been like, oh, it's really backseat. It's fine, but I like everything else more.
Yeah.
I think that I was particularly didn't like it.
Yeah. Making it into a more of a Zelda experience by turning off the stamina drain, I think, is a really good option for them to have.
Yes.
But eventually I just, I don't feel like the game was served by the challenge that you get from it, especially in like the back third. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have, a one-hit kill mode would have been nice too, or again, I would have loved to have explored this as a big, scary, empty world.
Yeah.
You also have Estus flasks that you pick up. They refill on respawn. You increase the number of charges it has there. These are your heart containers in the game, are additional Estuses, which is clever.
Yep.
You find 1/3 of a bottle.
When I realized what those were, when like I got the first little scene where it came together, I was like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's a good variation on that for sure.
Like we said, dying is handled in a Souls-like way. You leave behind a ghost and also a portion of your money. Never a lot, honestly. And when you get back to your ghost, and you reclaim it, it'll create a little shockwave around you that'll push enemies back, do a little bit of damage. I like that. Basically, any indie Souls-like that plays around with corpse recovery. In a way here, so like, okay, I save my recovery for when I get the boss near this, so I can deal a little bit of damage, right?
Yeah, that stuff's good. Blasphemous, Death's Gambit, kind of stuff there. Upgrading your character is done through offerings. You make these at these checkpoint shrines. You find these special items in the world, and they correspond with different stats that you increase. The stats, only the first 3 are labeled.
Yeah.
Which is great in the manual, but it's attack, defense, HP, the strength of your potions, stamina, and MP.
Yeah.
And there's also a cost in gold. So you have to find like a claw, and that increases your attack.
I really like how money stays valuable throughout this game. Like I was never rolling in more of it than I could use.
There's no stats outside of that. It's all money. So it's not. When you destroy an enemy, like some of them do drop souls, that pops up, but you mostly get money.
Yeah. And those souls are, that's your MP recharge, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You also customize your character by using ability cards. This is one of the things that is not explained until much later in the game. But I decided to include it because it is a really kind of basic thing, and you get these cards pretty early on. Ability cards are like, it's your ring slots. It's rings in Souls games. They will kind of modify your actions or your abilities in particular ways, some of which are pulled directly from Souls games. Like there's the equivalent of the red and blue Tearstone ring, whether your attack gets better or your defense gets better when you're at low health. There's one that decreases the enemy detection range. It was fun to put these on and try and figure out what exactly was happening with them. And nowhere in the manual does it directly say what any of these do. So, like we said, big part of this game, exploring, pathfinding, the level design is incredible, I think, broadly. And the use of perspective is neat. I was pretty happy that I figured out that they were inspired by Monument Valley before I read that they were. Yeah. Yeah. So as you're looking for things, you can also activate a prayer ability. This is you holding the action button for 3 seconds. That'll cause you to kneel and to pray, activating some important things in the world, powering equipment, stuff like that. This is not immediately apparent to you.
Yeah. There are other mechanics. One very special, one marquee one that is the big twist. We'll talk about that later after the generalities.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty game. I think very low poly, kind of flat shaded with a little bit of texture and glow going on. It makes everything look like a diorama, but not made of claymation.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the diorama looking games do.
The the one that this is kind of evoking in me, but it is not like it at all, is the Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah.
That was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a diorama of low poly things instead of being a diorama of something that is trying to look plasticine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks really good. Enemy designs, character designs, all very cute. Your little guy is very sweet.
Yeah. And I love the soundtrack, Gary. Lots of dreamy textures and some obscured chiptune elements to it. It is nice and atmospheric, and I think that it really matches with the feel of the game.
I was really hoping for an adventuresome overworld theme from this, based on the Zelda-ness of it. I think the soundtrack fits and everything. It's not to my taste in music. Like instruments, it is chiptune, but the instruments are more organic. It's not bleeps and bloops. It's like fake pianos. Closer to that.
Yeah.
To there. I am a little bit lukewarm on the soundtrack. I do think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
But
so Tunic began development in 2015 after the designer and programmer Andrew Schuldeis left his job at Silverback Productions, a studio that seems to have primarily made licensed games. And here we get to something that's a little bit awkward. Which is
a little bit.
Yeah.
They're a listener as far as we know. So hey Andrew. Complaining about I don't want to hurt your feelings by complaining about the combat in this. I think it's a very beautiful game. I think it is masterfully designed. In a lot of ways.
Yeah. So the working title for it is Secret Legend. That pops in a couple of different places that I don't want to spoil.
It's the actual title.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shh.
So Andrew figured out pretty early on that he alone didn't have all the skills necessary to kind of execute on what he had in mind. So brought some additional teammates in, primarily people that he met at GDC back in 2015. And then after the team revealed the game at E3 in 2017, kind of raised the profile and got a few more folks on board.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot of buzz around this.
Yeah.
The original idea for the main character was to have the player customize a humanoid character, but Schuldeis couldn't settle on a design they liked, so he chose the little fox person. Very cute.
Very good choice.
Very good choice. It's also, I keep calling the fox little dude. The fox is a gender.
Yes.
Things are not gendered in this game.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying that because of Zelda reasons. Ironically, but it's very specifically a gender, so you can project what you'd like.
Yeah, it's a little dude in the way that it's a little dude going, or just a little guy going around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely a little guy, even if it's a girl.
Yes.
In this specific instance. For the instruction manual aspect of the game, Schuldeis was inspired by being young and too young to fully understand manuals from games, sort of things like Metroid 2, or specifically to evoke importing.
Yes.
Games. He talks about on that No Clip documentary, not having that experience specifically, but trying to invoke it.
Yeah. And I never imported a game. I imported some soundtracks, when I was super young. But this matches up with other people's firsthand accounts of doing their own kind of ad hoc translation with things. And something they feel is important is that collaboration was the intent for this on the player's end. The intention was never for anybody to figure out everything alone. I don't know if that specifically means the wiki is there and it's a valid way just to skip past all of this stuff and get the full understanding. I think that, things that I have read that have stuck out to me are like two people or a group of friends, like comparing notes on the language, right?
Yeah. I think that's the ideal use case for this. And we're talking about the language. There are also a bunch of meta and ARG things in this. There are a lot of secrets to it that are kind of run parallel to the game that runs into ARG stuff in that it's unlikely to be a thing you're just expected to do.
Yeah.
So even if you can, you can argue like it is arguable about the language, like, your point about just going to the wiki and skipping things, like that's a matter of opinion. I feel like it is, whether that's what is meant by this collaboration thing. I don't think anyone's meant to figure out, any individual person can be expected to figure out the music secret.
Right.
In this, without spoiling what the music secret is. There's a music secret. Yeah. I would never have gotten that in a million years. I just read about it and it's like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
No.
Any of that ARG stuff, I'm probably going to opt out of. Like, I'm down for using a notebook to translate a language, but not for going to a second website.
Yeah.
so yeah, that requires a lot of like outside of the game stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Game reviewed very well. Nominated for a ton of awards, including getting a DICE award for outstanding achievement for an independent game. It is an outstanding achievement.
Yeah.
I think it sounds well deserved.
And I have no idea what the team or what Andrew are doing next, but I'm really excited. This is
Tunic Fighters.
Tunic Fighters.
It's actually a huge swerve. Inspired by the Guilty Gear series. It's really, really technical fighter with these characters. You have to actually input the language as moves.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time.
Yeah. It's the only fighting game that requires that you use an iPad Pro to play it.
Yes. You use the Dreamcast keyboard to do it. Anything else before we wrap up the generalities?
No, nothing.
No. Yeah. If you're hearing this, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. If you'd like to hear the entire thing, you got to be a patron.
That's
do. Patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
You don't just get the entirety of this episode, you get all of the premium episodes for the show that we have done before. Going back, I think we started this scheme in 2019, so more than 5 years of shit. Yeah. What's that?
Yeah. A scheme.
I
think we launched this plot. Yeah.
It's an appropriate use of the word.
It is. It just got connotations.
Yeah.
We really appreciate everyone who has done so. We understand that everybody can. That's why you put out the other 3 episodes in a month and a host of other stuff.
If you want to write in about Tunic, it is too late as of the time you are hearing this. But you can write in about June's games, which are The Life and Suffering of Sir Brant, Project Snowblind, and our premium episode for that month is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Which is also a Zelda-like that involves going behind things. Like it is a weird accident.
Yeah.
And time's really going to tell whether Project Snowblind has the same kind of ethereal beauty that Tunic has.
You've played it, so you know.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I know.
Joking about a bro game. We appreciate you. Ratings, reviews, you all know all the stuff. And join us in thanking our producer, Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen. Also, I have added Duckfeed to both Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow there. I'm posting short clips from episodes for promotion and stuff. So if you want to see those, that's where those are. It's Duckfeed.tv on both platforms.
Yeah. I encourage you to follow.
Do.